Joe and Sandra, we've spent weeks talking to this sergeant and examining hours of audio tape and numerous crime reports he gave to us. Proof, he says, that the Rockaway precinct, where he was a supervisor, has been downgrading felonies to make crime look low and top brass look good. Sergeant Robert Borrelli says the NYPD has left him with no choice but to go public after months of ignoring his allegations of routine misclassification of crimes at the 100th Precinct in Queens. He says the pressure there to manipulate crime reports has become unbearable.
I just couldn't take it anymore. Came a point that it just finally broke, and I'm like, this has got to come to a stop.
So last May, Sergeant Borrelli started handing over dozens of crime reports to the NYPD's Quality Assurance Division, whose job it is to ensure the accuracy of crime stats. The reports, he claims, amounted to smoking gun evidence of intentional, routine downgrading of crimes.
They're constantly changing the classification to downgrade crime so it's not tracked. It goes under the radar according to the FBI crime stats.
So in other words, trying to bury the serious crimes.
That's correct.
For example, this incident from last August in which an angry customer fired 4 shots at a cab driver, a clear case of felony assault.
I was the supervisor on the scene. I made the determination of what we had. I appropriately charged the proper crime, the attempted assault 1, and it was later on changed, I believe, the following morning. Someone lined it out and changed it to reckless endangerment.
In another case, the sergeant claims a felony burglary was downgraded to criminal mischief after an officer coached the victim to exclude from the crime report that her ex-boyfriend stole 2 flat-screen TVs from her apartment. Sergeant Borrelli was recording when he called the victim to ask why the report never mentions the stolen TVs and the ex-boyfriend's unlawful entry.
Did he have permission to be there?
No.
Okay, how come he had access to the keys, though?
Because he took them from me.
Did he also take 2 flat-screen TVs out of your apartment?
Yes.
Okay, how come that wasn't mentioned in the domestic incident report or the complaint report?
I did tell them that.
I know, but did you write that in the domestic incident report or no?
You know what? I didn't write every single detail because they just said to make it short and sweet. Write down that he came into your home, smashed your stuff, and that was it. So I wrote down what they had told me to.
Their intent was to hide the burglary, in other words, disguise it by leaving the flat screens out, by saying that the individual had permission and authority to be in the apartment when he did not.
Sergeant Borrelli says Quality Assurance confirmed in a secret taped conversation that some of the reports he gave to them had indeed been misclassified.
Now you think what I'm saying is, kind of being corroborated? We have a couple of misclasses based on obviously based on some of your calls. We have a misclass on criminal miss, and we have a misclass on domestic. So we have some misclasses.
In a statement, the NYPD tells us Sergeant Borrelli's allegations of widespread downgrading have been unsubstantiated by a quality assurance audit at the 100th Precinct. They found out of 925 audited crime reports, just 17 had been misclassified. But of the reports Borrelli fed to Quality Assurance on his own, 4 of them were determined to be misclassified. Sergeant Borrelli is no longer able to feed misclassified reports to Quality Assurance. Suddenly, and without explanation, he was recently transferred out of the precinct where he had been a supervisor for nearly a decade to the midnight shift at the Bronx courthouse.
The department needed to isolate me. They needed to contain me, so they transferred me out to remove me from having access to the complaint reports that I was giving to Quality Assurance on a pretty much week-to-week basis.
Sergeant Borrelli has also been hit with discipline charges for an argument with an officer. The NYPD says the number of misclassifications found in their audit at the 100th Precinct was around 2%, the average at precincts citywide.